Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaudati Namaha. So we are here at our West London, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati West London chapter. And tomorrow is Baladev's Divine Appearance Day. And will we have an evening program, or will it be a noon? Was that decided yet?
It will be a very busy day preparing everything.
Because the next day is the festival, so we'll have or we just have a morning. We can have a morning part of the morning program. Okay, that sounds good. In Navadip, also, it would be, we wouldn't have like a particular noon time. We would just be part of the daily program. So that's cool. So part of our morning program tomorrow, celebrate Baladev. And then the following day is the anniversary. It's the anniversary of Mahaprabhu coming.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. And it's the 8th anniversary. But it's also, this place was going for like 2 or 3 years before, right?
The building was purchased in 2010.
So that means it's...
I think it was going, the renovation was going for 4 years, and then...
Okay, I can handle this math. 2010, we're in 2022. So that means 12 years. Right, 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow, so this temple's been here 12 years, and Mahaprabhu has been here for 8 years. Okay. And Tungarasa, Didi from Norway, has arrived. It's beautiful. And we all liked very much what she said earlier. She said, "Now I'm alive." This is the real feeling. This is the real feeling. And see, this is the good thing about being away. Then you get really thirsty, right? And then when you come, then you really appreciate it. When you're here all the time, then you can start to take it for granted. So you're in a better position. Then you can say such things with such sincerity. I'm envious.
Coming home.
Coming home.
Yes.
And Madhusudan Maharaj arrives at what time tomorrow?
I heard it like 1 p.m.
Okay, good day. And also Hari Gopal is arriving from Latvia, via Italy.
And you know who's also coming? Mahamantra from Spain.
Now?
Today, yeah.
Mahamantra?
Tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh my God!
He got a visa.
Wow! Oh my God! I feel like you guys are playing some like hidden camera thing on me.
Yeah.
Like, watch Vishakha's expression when we tell her Mahamantra's arriving. Ah! That's amazing! Really? He's arriving tomorrow. Hey, you can't tell me this like on live television. That's amazing. I haven't seen him for years.
Isn't that nice?
Wow, alone. He's coming alone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's such wonderful news. And how long? He's staying for, he has some work.
3 weeks or something.
Okay. Jai. Mahamantra, he was living in Navadip for many years. Maybe, I don't know if you met him. You met him here, yeah. He's a very dear brother. Wonderful news, wonderful news. Wow, we really have a festival. A festival means Vaishnava, and Vaishnava means festival. What's that verse that Manasora Gurudev liked that verse? It's in Prapana Jivanamrita. But Gurudev describes Harikatha. It's a verse in Bhagavatam actually, describing Harikatha as a festival for the mind. Do you remember that verse?
Yes.
It's in the penultimate chapter. Manaso Mahotsavam. So it is a real festival. Really, it is a festival. Gurudev also quoted one expression of Bhakti Vinod Thakur where he explained that what is the meaning of a Mahotsav? That so Utsav is festival. Right? And then Maha Utsav means like a great... So what is the real meaning of a Maha Utsav, a Mahotsav, if there's a Vaishnava present? And he also commented, like when we're going out and doing like this mass prasadam distribution, like we would do in our temples in India, he said, you know, the idea is that if you will serve one Vaishnava, if there will be one Vaishnava, or one of the ideas behind it, if you will serve one Vaishnava in there, then it's all successful. You know? So we feel very happy. So many Vaishnavas are coming here, and we have the opportunity to offer service to them, and we will all be uplifted by that.
Vishakha, you started the Mahotsav.
Well, I don't know about that. That's your Vaishnava vision. You're very generous. Let's see. Manaso Mahotsavam. Can't remember the first line. It's coming.
Is there also a shloka about Mahotsav being connected with like Harikatha, the sort of the...
Oh, that's what this verse is about.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflating these two things. Vaishnava and Harikatha.
Yes. Yeah.
It's in here somewhere, but maybe I'm looking in the wrong chapter, but anyway, it was mentioned there, so very good news. Okay, we'll continue, unless anyone has a request. We can continue. So we're going through Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada's introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we finished the other day, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, that, on this point that Swami Maharaj is discussing how Chaitanya Charitamrita is giving the postgraduate level of Krishna consciousness. And he says, you know, where Bhagavad Gita ends, Chaitanya Charitamrita begins. You know, Bhagavad Gita is concluding with, what is Bhagavad Gita concluding with? Radharani knows. The final instruction. Yes. Say it more loudly. Can you say the whole verse? She knows. Very good. Very good. Yes. And what is the translation? The general idea.
Abandon all religious activities.
What are you doing here then? No, I'm joking. we have a subversive member here, subversive member of the group. Get her out, get her out. She's gonna corrupt now.
Abandon all kind of activities, right?
Oh, you can say religion. Yeah,
I was thinking
duty.
about dharma.
Yeah, dharma, duty.
Yeah.
Generally, we'll say duty, right? But it does also mean dharma in a general sense, like the external idea. It is what you said is not wrong. We're just being silly. You're right. It's just, I think, because you said religious activities, it made it more. Yeah, give up all religion, all duty, and
surrender to me.
yes.
And it ends with Masucha, which means don't worry.
Right, don't worry, be happy. Why?
Because that's the ultimate fulfillment of everything is in the Lord's hands. You're in His guardianship or protection.
But also, he does give some reassurance there in the verse.
Something about I will protect you.
Yes, he specifically says, I've got your back, I'll cover you.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Because you're leaving behind your ordinary religion, your ordinary duty, then there may be some problems as a result. But don't worry, aham tvam sarva pap. I'll take care of any pop, any sin that will come as a result of that. So this is where Bhagavad Gita ends, right? And then we don't really, it's kind of like a bit of a cliffhanger. Like, what happens after that? You know, and how do I surrender also? You know, and Krishna says, surrender to me. Well, where are you? I can go into the forest and, oh, Krishna's in this tree. You know, I can come in the temple. Oh, the deity of Krishna is here. But is that enough? You know, I just serve the deity. You know, or do I see Krishna in everyone? What, like, there's no information here. So then Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, even more so, they're picking up that thread. You know, how will you do that? And so in the Ramananda Sambad, Mahaprabhu actually rejects that verse. It's just pretty radical, right? The Sarvadharma Prichaja. Mahaprabhu says, Eho Baya. No, this is external. Tell me more. You know the Ramananda Sambad, that conversation? And at one time, Ramananda, he presents Sarvadharma Prichaja as the highest instruction, and Mahaprabhu rejects it. And this is why, because there's no detail there. To whom do we really surrender, and in what way? It's not clear. As Gurudev joked, right? You surrender and lie down and take nice prasadam and get fat. You know? It's not clear. So then, what is the verse that, who can say what verse Mahaprabhu accepts? Pandita wants to know this.
When you say I'll
Okay, I'll give the first word, Gyane.
Prayasam. Pasya namante jivanti.
Yes, very good, yeah. Gyane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaditam bhavadiya vartam stane stito shrutigatam tanuvan manovya ye prayaso jita jito diyasi taistri lokyam. So, you're familiar with this verse? Sorry, Tungarasa. She just landed and Marty putting her in the examination hall. Like, you just feel like, can I get a break? Please, can I get a break? And I was asking her to sing before, and she's like, well, maybe give me a little time to get back into class. I'm like, do you know this verse from the Brahma Stava in Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam? Okay. So,
I did come across.
what did you say?
She did come across it.
Okay, good, very good. That's what we want to hear, that you came across it. That's good. You can say something about that. I love your Bengali head movements, Pandita. She's got it down. She must have been Indian in her last life. She really does it perfectly, Devi. Gyan Prayash. This is relevant because we're going through Upadeshamrita. This is, Upadeshamrita. This word Prayash. Atyahara Prayashas. That same word means to endeavor, endeavoring. Gyan, knowledge. Gyane Prayasham means the endeavor for knowledge. And this here, Gyan, knowledge, it has there are a few connotations, right? Like liberation. The aspiration for moksha, for liberation, is implied here. The cultivation of dry knowledge, the spirit of renunciation. Also included here with Gyan is any type of calculation, right? So even in the practice of devotion, to include the spirit of calculation. That, I'm doing this service and I will get this as a result, right? This is not pure devotion. So these things are all included here in this verse. the endeavor for knowledge. On a higher level, Gyan can also refer to Aishvarya Gyan, right? Because the residents of, like the Muda Vaikuntha, Narayan worship, because in Vrindavan, everything is moving in a, like purely on the basis of love and attraction for Krishna. There's no room for awe and reverence in Vrindavan, right? So the residents of Vrindavan, they don't know that Krishna is the supreme, right? They're not serving him with that consciousness, oh, he is God, so I have to serve him. They're not serving like that. It's purely on the basis of attraction, love. So, and it is simple. It is a plane of simple dealing, simple, plain, straightforward dealings. But if you go to Vaikuntha, then Narayan is appearing in a very majestic form, and that awareness is pervading everything, that he is the divinity, right? So, and a higher connotation of Gyan is this Aishvarya Gyan. So we use also the phrase Jnana Shunya Bhakti, right? Knowledge-free devotion. It means that of the Braja Gopis or the Braja Basis, that they don't have the Gyan, the knowledge that Krishna is God. So that's a higher level. But in a general, in a more immediate, applicable sense, we can say it'll be translated as the tendency for knowledge, too much knowledge seeking. So Jnane Prayasham Udapasya. Udapasya means to reject it. It's being rejected. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj broke it up. Uta Apa Asya. To hatefully throw it far away, he said. So Jnane Prayasham, to give up the endeavor for knowledge. Namanta Eva Jivanti. Sat Mukadita. Sat is referring to the sadhus. Mukha is the mouth. So namanta, like give your respects to what comes from the mouths of the sadhus. So the Vaishnava, so this is the key point here. What is missing from Sarva Dharmam Prichaja. The Vaishnava is not mentioned. The devotee is not mentioned. It's all very vague, So this crucial element is included in this verse. Krishna is saying, you will approach me through my devotee. That is made clear. Sanmukaditam, bhavadiya vartam. And vartas, they're messages. To those messages you will namanta, you will give your respect. And in what way will you give your honor to those messages? Jivanti sammukaditam bhavadiya vartam stane stito shudikitam. Tanu van manobir means bodily, mentally, and verbally. We will give our respect. It's not just a passive, oh, very, very nice, thank you so much. Very good talk, very good, very good. No, it's not what is wanted here. But you will hear and say, oh, I want to give myself to this. I want to give my energy to this. I want to give my life to this. In that way, we will try to give ourselves. However, it's also mentioned that you don't need to change your position. Stane stito. You can remain situated in what mode of life that you are in. You can remain situated in your circumstances. It's not required that you have to immediately change everything in your life to come to this. But where you are and as you are, you can begin hearing these divine messages, and according to your capacity and your circumstances will allow, you will give yourself. You will surrender to those. That's the idea. You will surrender to these messages. Shruti, hearing. So, Jani Prayasha, Jivanti will live in this way. Jivanti Sanmukaditam Bhavadi Avartam. Bhavadi is referring to the sadhus, these sadhus. Stane stito. You will be remaining situated. Shuti Gatam, hearing, Tanuvan Manobir, bodily, mentally, verbally. And then the payoff. Ye prayaso, jita jito, piyasi taischi lokyam. That one who can really enter this mode of living, can live in such a spirit of surrender, then who is ajita? Ajita means unconquerable, unconquered. He will become jita. That means Krishna, right? Normally the Lord He is the infallible, unconquerable, independent, absolute, right? The origin of all, Anadir, Adir, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, right? He is the cause of all, He is the origin of all, and so on. He is nobody can conquer Him. He is the one in Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam, this very grand, powerful, divine being. He will become conquered. He will be subdued by the love of such a soul. Ye prayaso. Then jita ajita, right? Ye prayaso jita ajito piyasi taistri lokya means the Lord of the three worlds, this great powerful being who is unconquerable by anyone. You know that word unconquered? Like, your English is very good. So this is the power of surrender, right? That great almighty being will come within the clasp, will come within the hands of finite being of this world. This is the power of surrender. So then on this verse is when everything begins. Then Mahaprabhu says, okay, eho hoy, this is all right. Ageka, now say something. Now develop upon this. Now we've established some foundation. We've reached a plane worth standing on. Worth our time. Now let's develop. Everything else is like not up to standard, not up to standard, not up to standard. Now you pass. Gurudev also used it spoke of it in that way, like it's the pass mark. Then you can get better, right? Before that, it's all fail. Right? This is the passing mark. Now let's do better. Let's develop on that. There was, I'm trying to remember exactly, it was in Russia, there was some advert for a pen. Maybe you heard this before. There's an advert. Gurudev was in Russia with the devotees and the television was playing and there was some silly advert for a pen. And it was this boy who he got 110% on his exam because he uses this special pen. He does so well, 110%. And so Gurudev, right, with his Paramahamsa vision, he connects this with Ramananda Samvad. And he said that he referred to the end of the discussion when Mahaprabhu's still, like, Ramananda's gone into the deepest layer, right? He's described the nature of Krishna, the nature of Radha, and the nature of their divine Leela. Like, it doesn't get, more than, there's nothing past that, right? Ordinarily speaking. But then Mahaprabhu's still pushing him, I want to hear more. Ramananda's like, wow, you really want me to say something more? Like, how do I go beyond this, And he said, I didn't know there was anything more that could be said. And then Ramananda says, oh, but now some inspiration is coming to me, but I don't have any scriptural reference for it. Because up to this point, so from Gyane Prayasham, this verse, then Ramananda goes into the different rasas, right? Shanta, actually he jumps over Shanta. Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhur, then more details about Krishna, Radha, and their relationship. So that's like 100%, right? We reached 100% here. And then, but Mahaprabhu was still prodding him. I want to hear more. And the whole conversation started out with Mahaprabhu saying, give some scriptural reference, like evidence. Like, don't just, I don't just want to hear your ideas, but give some evidence to back it up, to support. So Ramananda's been doing that. He's presenting a particular level of, knowledge or realization, and then he's giving some scripture to support that. But here, the Ramananda says, well, now Mahaprabhu is still pressing. He says, well, I didn't know there was anything more in this world that could be known about such things. But now, actually, some inspiration is coming to me, but I don't have any scriptural reference. And then he chants his own song, which is, it's kind of a cryptic expression, and it's indicating the appearance of Mahaprabhu. This, how they unite in one, right? Shiradhaya Pranaya, what is in the beginning of that verse? Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, no, the other one. In Sri Damodar's verse in the beginning here. Not that one. Radha Krishna, this one. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Asma. This we're describing how they, they're sometimes appearing in two, how they're one absolute truth, and sometimes they're appearing in two forms for their play, and sometimes they're coming in one form as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this verse of Ramananda, it's a very esoteric, cryptic kind of expression. And I know I'm not qualified to go into that. But it's indicating that, that there's a particular stage in the union of Shri Radha Krishna where they appear as one. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu covers his mouth. Because he recognizes, he's talking about me. He covers his mouth, don't say any more. So Gurudev says that's 110%. And the Jnane Prayasham, then he also added something like Jnane Prayasham was the pass mark. And I think he said it was like 40%. Because the first is Varnashram Dharma. Then there's Krishna Karma Arpan. And then there's Swadharma Tyag, give up one's duty. And then Jnane Prayasham. So it's like the fourth level. That's the passing level. And then building on that with the different relationships. Sorry, Vishnu Priya. Because you came in late, so you're probably a bit lost. What are they talking about?
No. I tried and learning English.
Well, I'm glad we went into that discussion. Nice. And in our last meeting, we were also discussing some different points where you see Bhagavad Gita gives one level of instruction, and then Srimad Bhagavatam is developing upon that in like parallel verses. So that's one example too. The Sarvadharma Vichitya and Jnane Prayasham. And another, the verse that Gurudev actually correlated is but I'm not very familiar with that verse. Tasmat Tvam Udavochrijya. The verse of Krishna speaking to Uddhava. Give up all these chodanam, prati chodanam, like all these different scriptural injunctions and prohibitions, all these things. It's a very nice verse. We should be more familiar with it. Tasmat tvam udavochrijya chodanam prati chodanam what you have heard before, what you will hear, Shrutim. Of course, there's double meaning. It's also referring to the Shruti and different sections of the Vedas, but more detail of what you're giving up. What are you paritya? Because actually, you know what's really interesting is you see in some verses, like, so the word is tyag, right? But in this verse, it's parityag, right? So explain, what is this pari? You can explain that.
It's an emphatic, what you call it? Preposition.
Preposition, right. So you see this sometimes in Sanskrit, that sometimes you'll just see like the word on its own, so tyag. But if they want to give, if more emphasis is wanted, then they add this padi. Another is pra, right? There are a few prefixes.
Ut, maybe.
Ut, right? Utrija is another one. There are these prefixes, or what's the difference between a prefix and a preposition?
I don't know if there really is, but prefix is really attached to the word, I think. Or maybe preposition could it be?
Maybe prefix is...
Preposition is a word
Separately. Yeah.
Okay, so prefix is the word that we want,
Attached
maybe.
to it.
Right. So they use these prefixes sometimes to make more emphasis on the word. So tyag, like to give up, but then parityag means like in a refined way, you know, in a more serious, intense way. And there are a few, I've just been noticing them recently, and another one which I noticed recently was prasanga, right? This that famous verse of Kapila Dev speaking to his mother. What is that? Do you remember that verse? The prasanga. So the word sangha everybody knows, right? Sangha, association, right? But in this verse it uses the word prasanga. You know, means a more refined level of, like, not just coming and hearing the class, you know, or coming to the temple and doing your service, right? But you're entering into this in a deep way. You're making relationships. You're making deep relationships with the Vaishnavas. You are inquiring, right? Dadati pratigranati, dadati pratigranati, guyam akyati prichati. You are confidentially inquiring and hearing from the Vaishnavas. You're making, like, you know, deep connections with the Vaishnavas. You are serving, but not just in a general way, but in a conscious way, trying to go deeper into your service. Do your service in a more refined way, a more perfect way. Hearing, improving your hearing so you can do your service better. You know. So yeah, that actually just hit me now, this parityag. It's actually, the word is tyag. That only hit me right now. It's the pari is a prefix there, parityag. So what is that pari, right? That is in this tasmat tvam uruvuchija. What is it that you're giving up, you know? These external guidelines in the scripture, your mundane activity, that's kind of a given though. Your attachment and your detachment also. Gurudev, there's a place in Revealed Truth where Gurudev is talking about this verse. You're not only giving up your attachments, but you're also giving up your detachments. Because we may have an attachment to detachment, right? You know, like I like money, I'm very attached to money, I have to give that up, right? But you can also have an attachment to not having money. But what if you need money for Krishna's service, right? Like, nothing else is allowed here. We're entering a world where the only thing that counts is what makes Krishna happy. That's the only thing that's acceptable here. What makes Krishna happy? What is good for Krishna's service? Krishna's service good, not Krishna's service bad. It's the only standard here. So if for Krishna's service you have to become a millionaire, then that's a good thing, right? Normally we'll say to have too much money, it's even in the 5 regulative principles. There's actually 5, not 4, right? So hoarding gold, hoarding money, this is something. It's like we spit on that, It's like we're advised, like don't. It's very dangerous to hold all that energy of wealth. But for Krishna, if it's for Krishna's service, and the rules change, everything changes. You can't be attached to your your repressed brahmachari lifestyle. No women, no men. Like, all that has to go out. All the rules are changing here. Opulent food, right? Krishna likes to take good food, and we will offer nice things to Krishna and the Vaishnava. We want to give the Vaishnavas good food to make them happy. One of my friends shared how, he was kind of attached to this kind of generic idea of spiritual life, where you're very renounced and you live a very extreme life, simple, austere. And one of the first times he met Gurudev in California, Gurudev handed out chocolates to everybody. And he was like, he had to rethink everything. It was like he was completely shocked. This is meant to be like a serious acharya, Indian acharya representing the Rupanuga Sampradaya. And he's handing chocolates out to everyone, And he's completely shocked by that. And had to take some time, to adjust, And he came to the realization that, Gurudev this isn't like for his own pleasure, right? It's not for his own enjoyment, but this is all in an exchange of affection and mercy. He's giving mercy, right? This is higher than renouncing, rejecting. Oh, I don't need chocolate. I'm renounced, right? We're having a higher discourse here. We're past kindergarten now. Wake up. This is a higher level. So it's like people are giving chocolate to Gurudev, and Gurudev's giving it to others as a token of affection. It's not that it's about, we're enjoying this, but it's a way of showing affection, a way of giving grace. So this is a more refined level of theism. But not everybody can understand. Like Madhavendra Puri, right? He had these 2 disciples, Ramachandra Puri and Ishwara Puri. And Ramachandra Puri is in Madhavendra Puri's last days, he's chanting this verse of separation, right? Ayi dina dayajanata, this very high verse, expression of Radharani. And he's crying, in separation from Krishna. Krishna has abandoned us. Krishna's gone to, now he is Mathura not. He is the Lord of Mathura. He's abandoned us. And crying in separation. And Ramachandra Puri, his disciple, could not understand. Why you spiritual people are supposed to be happy. You should be smiling. You're meant to be peaceful all the time, right? This is one reason why Buddhism is so popular, because it's very simple, right? Material life means suffering. Let's just meditate and be peaceful and happy, right? It's very simple, and it's very kind of relatable to our immediate circumstances. But here in Krishna consciousness, we're going to all these refined layers. It's difficult to grasp. Because you're going to a plane that's totally beyond where you are. It's nothing to do with where you are right now. So Ramachandra Puri couldn't understand. You're my Gurudev, you're supposed to be a self-realized soul, you're meant to be happy and peaceful, you're always meditating and joyful. Why are you crying? Why are you sad? What is this? He couldn't understand. This is a very refined level of God consciousness, where you have such deep love for the Lord that you feel the pain of separation from Him. But that separation is also fulfilling. That separation is also joyful in another sense. So spiritual attachment, right? So we're not interested in detachment, in material attachment or material detachment. It's still relative to the material plane. Detachment means you're still living within the relativity of the material plane, right? So we want to enter a plane which is totally beyond any relativity, any consideration, any touch of this worldly plane. So that means attachment to Krishna. And detachment from anything non-Krishna, including detachment to the material plane. So that was at one point I'm remembering now Gurudev made in connection with that verse, that tasmat tvam buddhavochacha. Like, this is like more refined, right? Because Krishna says there, tyag, right? Tyag is give up. Tyagi. Tyagi means one who renounces, who gives up. So Krishna is saying, give up. But then what does that really mean? What are the more refined ways of understanding that? You also have to give up giving up. You have to renouncing. You have to detach from detachments, right? So. Shrotavya Shrutameva cha. So wonderful, huh? So wonderful. How fortunate we are to come within the vicinity of such high thoughts, such high thought. Would you like to, any last comments from anyone?
Comes to mind is how to, it's so beautiful, that whole, that it comes to parityag, and I was thinking about that, what that really means, and how you're basically shifting from giving up towards service, like dedication. You're not actually concerned with the like giving things up, but how to do that, to transfer everything towards services. And to do that in a selfless way is just a very daunting idea.
It's a journey, that's for sure. Yeah, beautifully put. Right.
And so nice, we have such a beautiful example of how you're going your journey. And lighthouse. Yes.
Had Rani to sing. Jai Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Rakshak Shridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Kushamasham Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Pavan Janarda Maharaj Ki Jai, Charja Vrinda Ki Jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai, Charja Vrinda Ki Jai, Seva Vrinda Ki Jai, Nanchakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Samabhata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanand.